Okay, today is July 25th, and I'm mad as fuck because they just deleted a 28-minute video that took 2 hours. So, what you're about to witness is me doing that over. And this is coming off of a morning and a night, and another morning and a night without any sleep. I also almost killed the neighbors this motherfucking morning. His ass got away by running in the house. Kelly Bunt's boyfriend ran in the motherfucking house. I'm gonna catch his ass. I don't have time for this stupid shit. I started not to even do this motherfucking video. How the possessed operate is a reflection of artificial technology. A programmed mind, not the human mind. The human mind has a matrix of its own that's driven by the heart. Created races don't have souls, which means they don't have personalities. Personalities are being assigned to them. I'm going to continue to record. So anyhow, they don't have personalities. Souls are being assigned to them. It's really and truly an evil and malicious trick. Only Satanists would think to put a robot in flesh. How do you tell Pinocchio that he's not a real boy? Especially when he's in a position of influence. So now, the demon using the identity is in his favorite outfit, white male Pinocchio, and when I confront it with the truth, it reacts with mistreatment, no matter how correct I am. Because it knows that justice for me means the end of him. It will always be the way this matter unsolved. It will always be a judgment not in your favor. That shit can't keep happening. Remember, black people, I encourage you to remember when they used to hate, had it instilled with hate that no one could explain. It was their knowing. If you think that the most flawed racist mind is supposed to be able to work better than yours, black people, and them able to run further than you, black people, you must go too. Because to think that a mice is more intelligent than an elephant is a wrong way of thinking. Every nation has supercomputers. Artificial technology is not new. Over recent years, it has been mentioned, introduced more broadly, acknowledging its assist with anti-theft CCTV. Because of scientific advancements like artificial intelligence, the most genetically flawed race is posing as lead in every category, including athletics. If you take basketball, baseball, and football out of the equation, there's a complete array of sporting events that they're posing lead in. They're being uploaded or downloaded. A mind easily hacked. The mind is not supposed to be infiltrated in any way. Here's a few examples of what takes place when an agent is using identities, both public and silent crimes. The individual might think they had a conversation they didn't have, are able to be a part of a crime and not know they committed the crime, pass a lie detector test, pass a urinalysis. The principle is a matter of who knows. If need be, they will erase the memories of all parties involved. The primary aspect of demon possession is memory removal and rewriting, up to and including skill sets. You all know the guy that can't print his name nor comprehend the English language, but he can operate a CNN machine or bulldozer. He was programmed that way, a reflection of a demon spirit. He's a product of an archetype, dispersed city or statewide. They always work and they never travel. So oftentimes no one knows they exist but those who know them. It's numbers. The same goes for judges, lawyers, retail, car dealers, and small business owners, constituents. This is how businesses and corporations tie into gang stalking. They own people, aliens, and control the dollar. Indicators of demon possession are inaccurate recall, conflicting relationships, drug use, and impaired judgment. Do not dismiss the fact that I stated early on that the government is placing ownership on the entire population. They have to fake balance. So they may not make you, with the overexpression of criminality, they'll probably make you out to be the good guy. But I guarantee you, if you take something like this, what's taking place with gang stalking to the good guy, you'll find that it's not a good guy at all. They will ignore the same way that everyone else does. They will not act on it. This is a situation that literally has to hit the media, and it does not. It has not. You'll see some. It's not press. You'll see some information about it on the internet. Catch it on YouTube. But as far as a actual media outlet capturing and putting this information out regarding what's taking place with gang stalking, no one is doing that. A couple of places overseas, but that is not the U.S. So, changes in appearance, bald spots, LGBTQ, especially dangerous demons. Appearance is a reflection of vested interest. How many demons are using the identity? So, let me make sure I get this right. There are both male and females who do not look anything like their parents. They've been genetically engineered to be something used. So they escape congenital inheritance. So I told you before, demons, they talk to me all day long. Government agents, female and male. There are some females that will not be anywhere. Like, they make all their identities to have butts. She says, I put a butt in a small waist on everyone. There's guys that want muscles and dreads. There's females that want baby hairs. And they do, you've heard me talk about this in the past, them telling me how they do the same thing everywhere they go. So when they show up and they get an identity, when they trade an identity, when they reprogram somebody, this is the type of behavior that they apply. These are the type of changes that they apply, and then they disassociate them with their past. Human augmentation. They were changing my appearance. They've been attacking my appearance to support their claims of schizophrenia to their stakeholders. You can believe that if you want to. We're talking about some of the cruelest, evilest celestial bodies on the planet. This is entertainment for them. This is the shit they get a kick out of. What's being done to me. So they've been stealing my DNA and adding malignant DNA to support their claims. Meanwhile, the truth is all over the internet. I tell everything that's being done. So what you're looking at right now is a photo from 2019. This was during a time that they were claiming that they paralyzed me and gave me a heart attack. So what I'm going to do is, real quick, I'm going to show you some examples of the type of human augmentation they've done, how they've changed my appearance to align with them claiming that I was someone else. Because oftentimes they try to disassociate me with myself completely. So here goes a few. The dates at the bottom of these screenshots are incorrect. They're from, I transferred this information. First of all, I took the screenshot from videos that were on another SD card, so the dates are incorrect. During this time, they were claiming that I was my mother. This is an example of the type of tricks they can pull with lenses. Sometimes they throttle the lens, sometimes they completely shut it off. Sometimes when I point in a direction, they throw it off to the left or the right, so I don't capture what I intend to. This is what I really look like on that day. Okay, I told you, everything that they take from me, they look at as a sacrifice. So when they steal DNA from me and they add a malignant code or strand of DNA, it's to pretty much curse me, claim that I'm someone I'm not, that I'm not who I say I am. And it's to get favor for the person they're applying my gene expressions to. And this takes place over and over and over again. Occasionally, I've captured the changes in appearance, how they make people look better, how they're able to attract more, in terms of material things, when they apply my expression to them. So, they gave me wingworm in February 2020, and it's still present now, actually. But that the wingworm was to suggest that I was a very, very, very filthy female. Like there's names to put on it, but they were claiming that I was those females. So those are the type of things that they did to align. In this photo, they were claiming I was my cousin. Yesterday they were claiming I was Kim Kardashian, when in fact they've applied a lot of my expressions to her over the years. During this time, they were claiming that I was one of those filthy females. There's a wingworm on my face. Physics, they have a way with physics. No matter how clean you are, they can make you look filthy and dirty. My cleanliness, my personal upkeep does not change. The only thing that changes is the dimension that they're associating me with. Okay, so no different than last night and the night before that. What I was talking about in this particular video was coming off a night with no sleep and then pressing my face into the massage bed. Part of physics is manipulating matter, making a hard object soft, a soft object hard. So when they attack me, I told you there's a lot of different things that they do at the very same time, and that's one. In some of these photos, you're going to see that my face is swollen or red behind it. This expression that you're seeing, the tired eye, they're able to apply that. There's times where I'm rested and they give me shots that make my eyes appear like just like that. During this time, they were claiming that I was a drug addict. I've never done drugs, unless you count weed, and that's on the internet too. Filters. I don't apply filters to any of my pictures. These are all things that they're able to do with this lens. And unfortunately, it's not just the lens. The lens can greaten the effect or dampen the effect. These are real manifestations of human augmentation. So these are some older pictures of me. I didn't start wearing glasses until 2014. They were preparing for attack then, and for the life of me, I couldn't figure out why my contact lenses just became uncomfortable. I ended up buying pair after pair, getting another exam, and there was nothing that could make my contacts comfortable, so I resorted to glasses. And like I said, it was preparation for re-imaging. Fat injections. They told me that they were going to remove, but I recently did a video on this. Told me they were going to remove fat out of my butt and put it in my stomach, and they did. They told me that they were going to remove my hips, and this is that was taking place back here in 2013. I was like, what is wrong with my hips, and where is this? You normally see white girls with a muffin top. My stomach wasn't like that. So a lot of these photos have never even hit the internet. I take a lot of photos that I don't show. 2017, you can see it in my midsection just a little bit. They were attacking it. Now, something about this photo right here. You see at the top the date that it says 1979. That puts my mom at about 19, 20 years old. They were claiming that I was my mom in 2018 too, and these are the type of changes that they were making to those devices. And when they made those changes to those devices, shortly after, they would steal them with magic. And there was some augmenting back then too, like back here, I would notice, and I'm occasionally reference, like, why don't I look the same all the time? Okay, so these are some of the things that they've done to my body. What I'm going to do is I'm going to skip to, there was something specific that I wanted to show. Okay, so I told you, part of stealing my DNA and putting it on those that I don't know, that I come across occasionally, was aligning activity. So if these females were in domestic relationships, a domestic relationship is something that I've never been in. They were swelling my lips and eyes remotely to suggest that I was those females. They were calling me them since they had my gene expressions, and they were in a different vibrational frequency. They were receiving favor. They're allowing me to feel this stuff while it takes place. And they're talking to me and antagonizing me while shit like that is taking place. This has happened on more than one occasion. It's insane. And this is the type of stuff that constituents are ignoring. So if I take this to the police department, if I take this to the hospital, if I take this to the mayor's office, they're ignoring physical damage that I can't explain. I'm sure you hear the fucking neighbor slamming the door right now. They do that all day long. He can't hear nothing that's going on in my apartment. It's the foreknowing and the insight. He's getting demonic insight. Oftentimes, I've talked about this already. It's like a blended state of consciousness. The same fucking agents that are surveilling me are telling me what they're going to do as him before they do it. And his girlfriend, too. Weight was a big thing, like they've been put in. These are some of the things that they did to my butt. I've walked roughly 2,500 miles, over 2,500 miles since this started in March of 2017. Hair is a big one. They damage my hair. They just tear it out. Okay, I told you the attack on my weight started in 2018. So these are out of order, but you can see right here I weighed in at 169. Right here I weighed in at 177. This year 193, and since they've gotten as high as 208. There's one more photo. You know, the oddest thing is when they made the attack on my weight, they told me that the stakeholders at the city, I mean, not at the city, but at the hospital that I was born at, were mad about what was going to come from this. And they began attacking my weight early on. Then they laid off for a little bit. I told you I walk a whole lot. So as I would walk, they were giving me fat injections, allowing me to feel them give me fat injections, antagonizing me about giving me fat injections to maintain their desired look. Oh, one last thing. I got my partial repaired April of 2019. And what they did was they broke it because they had some things that they used it as a sacrifice for the things that they wanted to do as the neighbor. So that means if an agent showed up on one of the identities in the neighborhood, it would make an attack and call it a sacrifice in order to get what they wanted done in that identity. It's about eliminating the lower tier. An encounter with demon possession while you're being gang stalked is much different because you know you're being attacked by the government. They shamelessly change the minds of those you know. You'll find yourself being like none of that took place, and everyone around you will be under a different impression. They are being programmed to perceive the situation in opposition on purpose. You have to document and capture them yourself, and you will find that stores and facilities surveillance is not they will never if you can get them to reference something to validate your claims, good for you, but it's not likely. For every change that the government wants to implement, they use possessed people, their robots, to push to see the necessity in anti-theft measures, in LGBTQ rights, and gun is everything. They use them for everything. So if there's changes that they want to implement, like say for instance, we're trying to get you to accept anti-theft measures. So that means we're going to start stealing. We're going to show up with some of these identities and we're going to steal. We're going to program them to steal. So you won't leave your car windows down anymore. So you won't leave your home windows up anymore. Electronics will be locked and caged in retail stores. Home surveillance is a reflection of paranoia. Those who don't live in neighborhoods where theft and break-ins are common, those who don't order packages on the regular will put measures in place for problems they don't have. Home surveillance also serves as an assist for CCTV, closed circuit television, a way for businesses to covertly gang stalk. Let me show you a picture. So what's happening is, you can imagine when you're walking down the street, surveillance is angled a particular way, probably at the doorstep or the driveway, and the doorbell, if it's doorbell surveillance, is aiming at the side of you. So it's not catching the front of you. The way the parallel reality is, it changes, it shape shifts and moves, manipulates the arrangement of things in the area. So it will position it like you're looking at the camera. And this is being done to falsify facial recognition, to falsify DNA theft. So back to anti-theft measures. They'll say, we want these people to be able to be prosecuted. We always have to call an officer out anyhow. Why don't we just put an officer on the post that the security guard used to man? Then there's separation of systems. States, they don't have the same systems. The systems don't interact because they have to have loopholes for their unfavorable lifestyles that they create. Real quick, because I'm still kind of on the topic of, DNA theft and how they're adding malignant DNA and reallocating my DNA. So remember this mattress that I showed you earlier. These are the type of people that they're associating me with. They're saying that I'm people like this. Today and yesterday, all those that operate under constituency are possessed. A constituent is one that's authorized to act as an agent. A chief constituent is one that's one that authorizes another to act as an agent. A term that they've gotten away from being recognized as is covert professionals. Constituencies design is a reflection of alien hierarchy. This is not new. This is just the evolution of what's been taking place. No different than in the past. During this time, they will not hire anyone that they cannot use and own. For the longest time, they would not allow blacks to get certain jobs nor affordable college. A sector of New World Order is placing more blacks in positions of influence to fake equality, when in fact their makers joined forces. Literally, over a short decade ago, 2010, 2011, you begin to see more black males and females, most with unfavorable past, in energy, skilled trades, and business owners. Soulless. They have an impression of who they were, and they're trying to get away from that. Their number one priority is getting away from who they were. After high school, they wanted to disassociate themselves with high school. After college or trade school, they wanted to disassociate themselves with that. Their low wages, they're trying to get away from that. The little odd jobs they used to hold. They want to get away from these things so bad that they will step on others and ignore what's being done. This is a short caveat. Like, I meant to talk about how cell phones tie into these sort of attacks, but I think you can probably make that out on your own, from what I said about 3, 4, 5G emitters. But they also mark a time and a period. This pink iPhone right here is like a old iPhone S, and it marks the time frame of 2012 to 2013. I had a Galaxy Note 3 that marked the time frame from 2013 to 2015. That's a device that the government takes. It marks a time. You can imagine all the things that were in those phones. Then it's just one of many phones. That's why I said those. So anyhow, constituency. Constituents uphold the Constitution and protect the lives nations are built on. They won't recognize the claims associated with evil behavior and corrupt politics because it would be like shooting themselves in the foot. They only entertain matters that they know you can't change. They understand that unprincipled measures are the key to their existence. The way the government structures itself is so that one system will safeguard the other. Sometimes that means there's a big name out front and a sub company or companies that fall underneath that umbrella. And those companies may have sub companies of their own. And sometimes it's vice versa, where the main culprit resides. The higher in wages, the more cutthroat it gets. Okay, so this is why they deleted the last video. They got mad. These are female astronauts. And I was talking about, how to you it may look like there's nothing wrong with them, and how I'm able to look at an individual and know exactly what they will and won't do. And the wickedness that they're associated with says a lot about them. And it's also a reflection of how they're applying our gene expressions. They call it the original Eve gene for a reason. There's a bunch of off brands and spin-offs of what my women, my bloodline are like. So there's like that with an evil twist on it. And like I said before, sometimes you might not realize it's evil until one of two things take place. Either you see this and it's crazy, or you realize that if you brought a matter that matters to them, that they won't do anything about it. It would not be until then that you realize how motherfucking fake and phony those smiles are. There's 3 types of covert beings. Those that are meant to befriend and influence you. Those that are meant to befriend to destroy you. Those who only want to be acquainted. These are the folks that say they know or know of you, and they take a little from you at a time. All are rooted in enslavement. When you're a part of these sort of demonic situations, you're mentally tormented. They will say and do things to you that the government will replay over and over again. It's the way that they will get smart with you or try to undermine you as someone conveniently passes by. As soon as they pass, they immediately try to clean it up so that they don't lose their ability, their opportunity to talk to you. It's about energy. Where attention goes, they'll say something to you that those surveilling will loop over and over again to steal energy. When you can't get over what someone said to you, it's called tormenting. The reoccurring thought is not a natural occurrence. It's a reflection of mind control. Agents torment to steal energy, to enhance their other identities. Telling you, these Satanists, what they're doing is like Hunger Games. That may be your position. So I said they're stealing energy to enhance their other identities. That may be your position. They want your job. And unfortunately, your job doesn't align with purpose, so you really shouldn't and truly care. But, in the world, society, as Satanists have shaped it, that's all that you guys have to define yourselves is your job. So it's pimp shit that resides in the workplace, communities, and even your home life. A lot of females and guys are being talked down to at home, demeaned. Those rendering the tongue lashing do it because they know it's being captured, and they have to say that they mistreated you to justify what they're taking from you. The government wants you to maintain conflicting relationships where you don't like your mother-in-law and your girlfriend or boyfriend's mom. Relationships where you aren't attracted to or who you feel aren't attracted to you. You look crazy. The only thing that has changed is they let more races in on the corporate and business side of things to influence others. Influence establishes your new ideal of normal. So while you're trying to be busy, while you're being busy trying to be more like them, they're being busy stealing DNA and trying to be more like you. Okay, foretelling. It's in all their old and new material, occult material that industries produce, music, film, etc. So, this Machiavelli album cover, it's just an example. And the reason that I chose this as an example is because at the very bottom in small print, it says, in no way is this portrait an expression of disrespect for Jesus Christ. Recall who I told you Jesus was. There's a reason that these rappers always talk about gods. They know who their God is. They know that their God is a genetic engineer, and they will be pushing the same Jesus bullshit.